Good evening, everyone, and welcome to day 548, our continuing coverage, updates, care, love, share, and all the things that we do in our support of Ukraine. Thank you, as always, for being here tonight. Special update. I've got Jania with me the entire time. We're going to give you a full update of what's happening on the front lines in Ukraine. Additionally, there's all kind of things happening internally inside Ukraine as far as mobilization, Russia the same, and of course, the latest updates on Prigozhin. So we're going to jump right into that. But thank you for being here. Thank you for continuing to like, subscribe, share, comment, give, everything you do. Much appreciated. And we're making a huge difference. So without further ado, let me get the man in here and say hello, brother. Welcome.
Oh, hello, friends. Good evening.
So been a difficult day as far as air alarms in Ukraine.
Yes.
How many have you had?
At my place. 6 or 7 at my place.
And I have seen that most of the times Russia's putting the MiG-31s in the air, flying them around. And of course, those are able to carry the Kinjals or the daggers. So the full nation gets an air alarm. Stressful.
I think they have a plan, and they will be terrorizing the civilians, the people of Ukraine, and they plan. I think it's a high possibility to attack of a rocket. Missile attack. Kinjal.
I would agree. This is what they do. They've been flying a few drones over the last couple of days, but now I shared Wednesday night. They've rotated another couple ships that are capable of carrying cruise missiles into the Black Sea, and then the airplanes are always there. So they're just looking for their opportunity. But the bottom line is, when the air alarm goes off, it's terrible. It's loud. Life has to change, and it's been 7 times today. So I want to start tonight right here. We're going to look at the front lines, and this is going to kind of lead us into our whole story. Then we're going to jump in to Prigozhin and some other updates as far as economy and things that are happening in the world that Russia is right in the middle of. So that's what we're going to do. Let me take us here and put this map on, and we'll go here. Of course, this being Ukraine, and I'm just going to let you comment. We're going to start down south. This, of course, Kherson area. Everything pretty much the same.
Yeah.
I know tonight Oleshky's being hit hard from Ukraine.
Yeah, and Kherson, the last 2 days, Kherson itself, being attacked, the Kherson city, by Russians, and there is a killed people, wounded kids, and completely destroyed houses.
It's every day.
It's every day.
It's every day. But as far as frontline movements here, everything's pretty much the same. We come up the Dnipro, of course, it looks much different than now. Here's Novokakhovka Dam area. And there's Vesel, as we know. We're working in this area here now, helping people. We come up to Beterslav. We come on up. Everything stays pretty much the same. The river here is dry, but it's extremely wide. And then we come over in Energodar, Nikopol. Everything's pretty much the same. We come Zaporizhia, and then we get to this Zaporizhia front where we're making the best movements for Ukraine. And the biggest one is here, where they've just came into Robotny. Yeah. So this is our best push right now. Unless there's stuff I don't know about.
I think our guys are laying the way. And the small things we don't see yet. but it's already there, and I think it will be quite surprising.
Well, here they've eliminated this first line here. They've pushed them out, destroyed them, or pushed them back. So it's really good. And of course, this push here is the gateway to Tokmak, and then of course, eventually Melitopol and Crimea via the land bridge. Below Guliapol, the same. Veliki Novoselko, this is where we were having success earlier. We come around, of course, Avdiivka stays the same pretty much. If anything changes, let me know. Bakhmut, Ukraine still holding on the front, on the north and the south, on the highlands. We do know Russia's rotating troops into Bakhmut that are fresh. And we know that Ukraine is going to fight for this Bakhmut, that it's not over yet. We'll leave it at that. Stuff you were sharing with me earlier. Then we come up to the place, if Robitny's the best push for Ukraine right now, Russia's focus, it's appearing to be Kupiansk and Liman. This is the toughest area right now for Ukraine, as far as I understand, up here in the north.
Yeah, but our guys are preparing that. It's not new, and our guys, our army, Ukrainian army, preparing and prepared in many ways. And I believe the Russia do not expect that our guys there. We will see. I'm sure about that.
Well, you saw Zelensky's statement yesterday, and he was saying, we're not going to rotate any troops out of any front to go to another front. We're going to hold all the fronts. So the question was specifically about this area from that reporter. So this leads us to this. Let's go here. That's the front line look. Russia calling up, it appears to be another 450,000 in mobilization. And I was reading after, I think it was Podolyak on this today, is where I got this from, the advisor to the president's office. But he said that this is what the world sees. But in reality, Russia's always pushing people and calling mobilization. It's always happening. Is that accurate?
Yeah, this is what. And the only thing I can add, that Ukraine now it's not a Ukraine 10 years ago. Our guys being prepared, well trained, thanks to our partners, and expecting Russians in the places and the forests on our own land.
Mm-hmm.
And one of my friend, he's a military, been in Israel army. He said like this: Ukrainians have to remember they are on their own land, and if they will remember it, own land will help them.
In sports, we call it the home court advantage, like in basketball. We have the home field advantage. It's kind of like areas where I hunt. I'm a hunter, and I know those woods like the back of my hand. If somebody was from somewhere else and wanting to chase me through my woods, good luck, because I'm going to know how to get you. So Ukraine needs to use that to their advantage. Now, Ukraine also, the mobilization is going to be adjusted. Kharkiv region is increasing the mobilization right now, but are we potentially going to see, as reported, the ages are going to drop, the ability to mobilize certain college students, males or females? Are these things going to be adjusting here?
Yeah, for sure. I would say like this. At first, the next wave, if we can use it, this will be people who had to be mobilized before. By some reason, they were not, and now the system will be adjusted, and I think it will be quite fair. It will be working as it should be in a country which has a war.
The next major mobilization, will that be the third one?
I don't know. Is it
Okay.
applicable in here? Because some things our guy announcing, something it just goes a little bit like every day,
Okay.
the process. So cannot
Let,
say like
let me ask you this question, because they've talked about their different waves of mobilization. If they ever got to the fourth wave, it would be 18 to 60 or 18 to 65 and all men. Do you think it's ever possible, let's say the war goes on longer and longer, that people your age would be mobilized?
yeah, absolutely not a question.
How old are
But
you?
not my 48.
48. And I know when we're there, there's lots, and these guys aren't always mobilized, but a lot of guys even in their 60s volunteered. They're in the front fighting with their sons together. So we'll see. Now, let's talk about some good news. Oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
Yeah, it's, by the way, I think it's the country comes together. The good news, what I've seen, will not point to place and areas. Our guys are prepared. Some equipment and the technique and the tanks are prepared and expecting like the time of using. And our guys the same. Training going nonstop in different places, different military centers, and this is the good news. And I'm not sure. Uh, yeah, maybe we'll come to that later. But this is good news like this. I don't know if people have seen this or
Yeah,
not.
let me do this for you. Here you go. What you got?
Do you know what is that sign?
Конечно.
So this is it says it's a special award from the 3rd Storming Brigade, and you know this is Azov.
It's Azov. Azov.
Azov.
Yeah.
To Charity Foundation in Abram, it says, and all the people here are a part of this community helping us as well. Just to remind, do you know this?
Kraken, of course.
Remember? Yeah.
Okay. So,
And we have.
wait a second.
So
We've got awards
okay.
and certificates from
Yeah.
Azov and Kraken.
Yeah.
Who
Yeah.
else has that?
If you remember, just to remind you, today I have a good mood. You remember this?
Oh, you're in a good mood today. Of course.
Yes, and I'm happy. I'm happy because we work and we keep the contacts with all of these guys, helping and staying together. This is our war. This is our army, and we staying together as one team. So
Let me ask you a question.
no, yeah.
Because I've been with all those guys and I know them well. How does it make you feel? It kind of makes you feel proud to get that recognition and that thank you, because that's what it really is a thank you.
Yeah.
Man, you got me pumped up. You know what I think?
Слава
What?
Україні!
That's what I think.
It was perfect.
Perfect, buddy. One of the things is that's also, I think, building morale in Ukraine is the fight continuing against corruption. I'm very proud of President Zelensky and the leaders. Every day, they're getting rid of the criminals and the thugs and the people who have abused the Ukrainian system, stealing from it and abusing their power. They're going to jail basically every day. So we're very thankful, and that builds morale in people. So there's a lot of good things happening here on day 548. Now, another good thing that's happened on day 548's right here. 2 places Crimea has been hit. This is public. Ukraine actually put boots on the ground in that area of Crimea. One of the guys is a little bit of their video. Nothing here to see, but this is the guys going into Crimea. See a helmet there. He's kicked back relaxing. There's your gun. Well, regardless, they've hit the ground there, and they took out some positions that were important. And additionally, they've also hit, I think this is the 126th Brigade they hit here with drones. That wasn't on the ground there. This was a drone attack. And very successful, taking out enemy storages, enemy supplies, positions there. So Ukraine has done two good things in Crimea here over the last couple of days. It's good.
Yeah, it's good. It's good, and it's people are encouraged here, hearing that we fight different ways, all possible ways, and we have success. So this is why we celebrate all together. I mean, it's fair to all the people who taking their responsibility, like personal responsibility for his own part to do.
Yes.
So that makes us happy. Everyone.
You know, it's been a good week, to be honest. We've hit Crimea. We've put boots on the ground in Crimea. We're making really good push south of Zaporizhia, and we also got this. This is beautiful. I mean, now here's what I'm going to tell you, guys. And I was all over this Wednesday night. We covered everything, Zhenya. I don't know if you saw the stream. We went minute by minute, all the information, every confirmation we had, and we waited. But now, officially by a third-party identifier, this is all I can tell you, it's not DNA, Prigozhin and Utkin were officially identified in the morgue. Prigozhin had a missing part of his finger. He was identified due to that missing part of his finger. And of course, guys, here on the stream, you know I showed you the history of Utkin, who's the true Nazi. Crazy. A lover of Hitler. They identified his body through those tattoos that I showed you the picture of. So that's where we're at with Prigozhin. Razmi, and I'm going to get your comment on this in just a second on the whole thing. They're reporting an explosive device was planted in Prigozhin's plane. It's possible. Maybe explosive device, maybe a air defense missile. Regardless, according to preliminary data, explosion happened at altitude. This is their report. As a result, the wing broke off, hit the stabilizer, causing the business jet to sharply gain altitude, then corkscrew. After the explosive depressurization of the plane, everyone on board instantly fainted. Pilots could not report. That's why there was radio silence and the accident. Due to explosion in the sky, that the tail part of the plane fell 5 kilometers from the fuselage. They were finding other parts of the plane today. Here's what I'll tell you. That's an awful quick report, because typically in the United States, when we have a plane crash, it takes like 6 to 18 months for this kind of information to come out. But it's where we're at. Now, people are wondering, what did Putin say? What did Putin say? I'm going to play it for you. A day after the death of Prigozhin, the president of Russia, Putin, first thing he did was he signed an order forcing fighters of forces that do not belong to the regular army, Wagner, to swear allegiance to the Russian flag. You will either have to have allegiance to Russia, not Wagner, not Prigozhin, not Utkin, or you're going to be dismissed and put out. That's where he's at. Now, what did Putin say? Here it is. Well, let's talk about the airplane crash. First of all, I would like to express my sincere condolences to the families of all the victims. It is always a tragedy, and if it is, as they say, that there were Wagner employees there, I would like to note that these people made a huge contribution against the neo-Nazi regime in Ukraine. We will remember it and not forget it. I've personally known Prigozhin for a long time, since the early 90s. He was a man of difficult fate, and he made many, many mistakes. But he achieved the results he needed. And when I asked him personally, I asked him for a common cause in this situation, as in these last months. He was a very talented businessman. He worked not only in our country, but also abroad. He worked in Africa. In particular, he was engaged in oil and gas and precious stones. And yesterday, yes, he just returned from Africa. He met with the officials in Moscow, and exactly what the representatives of the investigative committee have reported to me, I understand. We're watching it, and this investigation, it will be fully carried out, and we will come to an end result. We will see what they say. So that's Putin's statement regarding Prigozhin. I don't know if you guys expected to hear any more. And then let me give these and we'll get your thought on it from Ukraine. Lukashenko coming out today, making all kind of statements, how he was guiding Prigozhin and they were talking, and it was about, he didn't give Prigozhin security guarantees, but he warned Prigozhin, be careful, there may be an assassination attempt against you. It looks like, according to Lukashenko, 10,000 Wagner soldiers will remain in Belarus. That's where we're at with that. And then the last thing, no, we'll look to that. So that's where we're at on Prigozhin. I know we haven't talked to you about it all, but what's your thoughts on all of it?
We'll start from Lukashenko. The next day, maybe 2 days later, after Prigozhin attempts to visit in Moscow, would say, Lukashenko was absolutely straight and telling people that he gave to Prigozhin absolutely guarantee of safety and protection. And now, yes, this today seems to me, he said, no, it was my responsibility to protect Prigozhin and so on. So it's easy to track. Coming back to situation with the airplane crash, think about that, like the leader of country says, oh, it's so sad and we will remember him forever. I remember him years ago. But okay, people, just think about that. The whole big nation, the sky are not closed. This plane got back from Africa to Moscow and was flying from Moscow to St. Petersburg. And what about safety there? What about military air defense system? What about all of that? And nothing. Whole Russia are quiet. Like it should be okay. So this great nation, which fights till the end for the truth, they're happy to have, oh, it's so sad, we'll remember him. What about safety of that in a country of nothing? No, not any comments.
Listen, he had already flown to Moscow and landed. Everything was done. And then he was leaving again to go to St. Petersburg. You're right. It's something we didn't even talk about Wednesday. They didn't shut down any airspace. They didn't ground any other planes. They didn't know if they were having air defense mistakes and accidents and taking commercial planes out of the air. They just said, oh, okay.
They were not flying too close to Ukraine.
Yeah. That's
Nobody cares.
Very good point.
And yes, you have to remember that they started their flight before. The previous flight was from Africa, somewhere from there. And this was much more safe than flying from Moscow to St. Petersburg.
Very good point. I mean, yeah, they actually left Africa, flew over all the difficult parts where a lot of commercial aircraft can't go. I was just in Tanzania and we had to route around due to the wars that are happening in Africa. So they come on out of there, no problem, get to Moscow, no problems. And the problem happens between Moscow and St. Pete. So it's a very good point.
But, what people of Russia got, they were angry on Budanov, they were angry on Zaluzhny, and now they're just fixing a fact, emphasizing it. Okay, what about Budanov? He's still alive. What about Zaluzhny? Still alive. What about Prigozhin?
Gone.
Was killed. Gone. Okay.
Well, remember this.
You have something close would happen like this in United States, or in any other country, or people would go crazy on the streets. Army would go crazy. And what's going on there? Nothing. You hear nothing. People are happy to have this. We will remember Prigozhin. That's it. Be happy.
This is what's going on.
А вы умеете прощать?
Да.
Угу.
Но не все.
А что невозможно простить?
Предательство.
Mm-hmm.
Are you able to forgive? Yes. Everything? No. What can you not forgive? Betrayal. You know? Hey, bud.
Yeah.
You remember 2 months ago, everybody
Exactly,
getting mad at us when the Wagner was doing their revolution, and we told everybody, you better wait 3 or 4 days because the story will change. Well, let's wait 60 days. He's gone. And Utkin is gone. And the third ranking guy was there, who was his logistics commander. Gone. I mean, it's crazy. Wagner guys crying. This is their view. And then there's another video here. I'm gonna play a little bit of this. Let's see here. 55. What's going on here? I don't have it translated, but you can translate the gist of what he's saying and tell us what's going on.
Вот этот обелиск открывал Евгений Викторович Пригожин в Николаевке. А вот здесь, вот где вот эта дорожка, там были могилы. Это все снесено. Вы что творите-то, ребята?
Hold on, I'll pause it. What did he say?
He says, you see behind of my back, you can see that the part of field, it was like a road. And this area was full of graves. And now it's gone. The machine just moved it all out and clean it. It was a cemetery, and now it's nothing.
So it was a cemetery of Wagner graves, and now Prigozhin's gone, and they just cleared it.
Yes.
In fact, if I go further in the video, you'll see that. Let's cut back to it. Here.
Yeah, with the names of it.
Которые погибли. Вот, 23-й год. Обратите внимание.
So they just erased these guys.
Ребята, вот 23-й год. Вот, все здесь вот сложено. Венки вагнеровские все в кучу свалили. Вот.
They pulled it all together.
А вот здесь вот, где они работают, вот где вот раскатан, вот здесь вот были сами могилы.
And this was the field where the graves were there, but now it's nothing.
So explain that to everybody. I just cut that. So is that a Wagner guy? Because he had a Wagner shirt on.
Yes. So the Wagner guy asking, hey guys, what's going on here? Tell me what's going on. In the memory of Wagner guys who were fighting for Russia, and they were killed. And Prigozhin, he was opening this like a memory alley, something like this. And now, what's going on now? Nobody can explain, but it absolutely all of it just wiped out.
You know what? It can be a prophetic picture, really, because this is what's going to happen, folks. Putin's regime, they're just going to erase this Wagner stuff. And that's why he put out the order today. You know, you have to be and show your allegiance. Now, this guy right here, Saldo, remind everybody early in the war, he's the governor of Kherson under Ukrainian, when it was Ukraine. And then he became a traitor very early in the war and left Ukraine, gave his allegiance to Putin. Now he's the fake governor of that occupied area. He came to Moscow to give an update. And this is what's interesting. He's talking about the Novakhovka Dam and how that Ukraine did it. And then secondly, he's telling Putin how good they've done to restore electricity and gas. And then Putin says, but don't forget the families down there. They're so important that we take care of the people. And here it is right here. Hey, welcome. Well, let's get started here. So yesterday there was a meeting of the working group, responsible for the facilitation of the cleanup and restoration after the breakthrough and the destruction of the Kakhovka dam. It was mined and blown up. It was done by the Kyiv authorities in a very sneaky way. Now, they knew it would not give them anything, but after this, for 2 months, thanks to all the departments and all the departments of our federal investigations and our workings after this huge accident, I want to update you on the lower part of the Dnipro River. So there are 17 settlements or villages, and we have a 15-kilometer zone from the Dnipro. We have restored electricity, we've restored the supply of gas, and we've cleaned up from the fires and the destruction, and we're getting the Dnipro restored completely and back to normal because people need it. Look here, it's very important that we are taking care and thinking about all of the families and what we can do concretely to minister to them or help them in any situation. Yeah. Man, it makes me feel so good. Makes me feel, they're caring. Now, I'll tell you this is my favorite part though. Is in what we can do. Hold on. Look at that big map sitting there in front of him. He's got this big map, and his little governor's coming in there and giving the report. It's hilarious. But
have you seen any moment? Have you seen any moment of this video where Putin and Saldo were in one frame at one time?
No, sir. Good point. So, now you going? Let's go conspiracy. Let's go. Here we go. Help them. Look at here. So he's looking. Well, let's right here. Camera that way. This nothing. You know what, buddy? Good point. You don't think that they would do anything like that?
I said nothing. It just, for me, when they want to show that Putin is sitting with someone together, they show them together.
Correct.
Like, you remember Shoigu and Putin?
Real close.
You remember Putin?
You don't think the Kremlin's that corrupt, is it? The propaganda that they would fake it?
No, never.
No, they're honest people. They would never fake anything. Come on. All right, last couple of things here.
Sorry.
Let's go here. Thank you, Germany. Patriot new supplies are coming. So big thank you to Germany, among other things. It's good. I think Ukraine is in need of some resupplying of these air defense systems. So that's very good. Zelensky, 2024 elections, 24, not 23. Is it going to happen?
Yeah, I'm not sure absolutely. I don't know what can happen, what can cause it, because what kind of election and what for we can do during the war? What for? Like changing what politic party?
Understood?
Like
Exactly. I agree. Here's my point in showing this. Senator Lindsey Graham from America was with Zelensky just now, and he suggested to him, because there's no 23 election, zero, because of martial law, he says you need to consider 2024 elections if Ukraine is in a suitable condition, because it shows the world that Ukraine is moving in democracy and transparency, and you're not going to be like a dictator sitting in the Kremlin. Your thought on that? That's what Lindsey Graham told Zelensky.
if Ukraine will go for that, after that, the same person may say, okay, what is the difference? The part of people because of what had a war had to leave Ukraine. What about their votes? The part still under occupation. What about their wishes, their choice? What is the difference between Russia and Ukraine in that area?
Do you support President Zelensky?
Yeah.
Beautiful. We'll see. Just putting it out there for what's happening so people know the real truth. Next, make no mistake about it, folks. Russian oil is going all around the world. Right now, they have a LLC private ghost company that they're working through in 3 of the main nations. In this, I'm not going to say the national governments, okay, but companies within these nations. Turkey, India, and the United Arab Emirates are helping Russian oil get out. Of course, they're making money from it, but there are 37 ships in this fleet that is rolling Russian oil all around the world. We've talked about this. There's no reason to beat a dead horse, but you're not going to sanction this nation into defeat. They have natural resources that the world needs, and you have nations that are tremendously large and very wealthy, like a China, India, very large, 1 billion people, UAE, wealthy, that are helping them make money. Listen, Philip Morris is still doing business. I know that name doesn't mean anything to you, but in the United States, it is a tremendously huge company still doing business in Russia. It's a fact. So I'm not calling only on Turkey.
Yeah, but I don't know what to comment on that company, but at general, the whole world still having business. Maybe they changed companies, they changed stickers, they have their proxy companies or host companies in different areas, electronics, technologies, military, any. And at general, the most of the countries still having business with Russia. And yes, so some companies decided not to leave, like physically, not to leave, to leave their offices, let's say, in Russia, continue to work. Some decided to move, but in general, the whole world, the sanctions are working. But I don't know, maybe small countries like Lithuania, Estonia, something, Poland, maybe, yeah. At global, I mean, in general, they did stop all possible things. But it common with on the oil market and other markets, still having interest and not a problem. And for in this area, the money doesn't smell.
Well, it leads me to hear that you have to pay attention to. It's the same story. BRICS, the summit that just happened, you see on the right, Lavrov, of course, Putin's not going. Then you have India, South Africa, and you have China, and you also have the Brazilian president. They're all standing there together, hands interlocked. This just happened. So many people here don't even know what this is. What is BRICS? BRICS is an acronym for Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa. Where does it date to? Goldman Sachs economist Jim O'Neill coined the term BRIC, B-R-I-C, without the S, without South Africa. Listen, 22 years ago in 2001, and he claimed by 2050, the 4 BRIC economies would come to dominate the global economy. South Africa added to the list in 2010. On the meetings in South Africa this week, they announced 6 new members. It's the 15th summit. Argentina, Egypt, Ethiopia. Pay attention to the next 3. Iran, Saudi Arabia, and the United Arab Emirates, new members of BRICS. Last line in the dark red, 6 of the world's 9 largest oil producers will be members of BRICS come January 1st, 2024. That's all you need to know right there.
Yeah, but it's still, we have BRICS already, so the first year, but we see no one big project on a worldwide level done by them yet.
Let me ask you a question. Yeah, but the time's not ready yet. It's coming. I'm telling you. Let me ask you something.
Mm-hmm.
Forget all of that. Forget it all.
Mm-hmm.
On that stage is represented 25% or more of the world's population. You got China and India. And the nation that is pushing out terrorism into Ukraine, they're standing on a stage, smiling and holding hands. That's a problem.
Yeah, that's
Rise
it.
of the BRICS. Here's the answer to you. Look at here. I had this one ready for you. G7 and BRICS share of GDP. In 1995, 45%, I'm rounding. That's US, Japan, Germany, Canada, Great Britain, global GDP. And at that time, the BRICS nations, 16.9, 17%. 2010, 34% in the blue, the G7, or the nations of non-BRICS, 26.6%. Now 2023, it's passed. 29.9% US, Japan, etc. The BRICS economies, 32.1, and that does not include the new nations they've just added. So it is happening, and we have to pay attention to it. But more importantly for me, Zhenya, is not the financial side, because they're going to get their oil out, but it's the relationship side. You're standing on the stage, hands interlocked with a terrorist. That's it. We wouldn't stand on the stage with Saddam Hussein or Muammar Gaddafi. That's what I'm saying.
What I'm saying, what do I mean by, what I want to point on this, the G7 allowing it.
Agreed.
Sorry, but and it will and later if the situation the political will not be more bright, let's say more right, more correct, more the G7 will be dying in the future. It will be crashing economy of G7 as well, because it all the time it goes together. The safety guarantees of future and economy, it goes together. When there is no trust to army, no trust to the people, to peace, to stability, economy will be destroyed there. And now G7 are allowing to shake the whole planet with all of these threats from Putin, and basically doing, we really worry about that. Not being straight and powerful and principled, staying like this, what a strong position.
Well, that's the world we're in, and that's what we're witnessing. So we'll see. We just see the alliances. Yeah. We see the alliances. It's really happening now every day, west and east. So we'll see.
But
go ahead.
Yeah, I'm not about any that kind of analytical politic. I'm Ukrainian who stands with Ukraine, with my people, my nation, and my army. And I'm so thankful that I can tell you that there is a people there fighting. I was watching them, talking with them, spend time. People who lost their wives, kids, daughters, sons, parents because Russia killed them. And these people fighting, and they were telling me, I will not stop, because at this moment it's a fight for future of other kids and other families. What I experienced, I will do everything to stop Russia, and I don't care what field, what front line I will be. I will be fighting to stop that madness, to stop this evil power, and I'm staying with this kind of guys.
You're leading me right to where I want to close out the update tonight on this Friday night, day 548, August the 25th. Now listen to me. You don't have to make a comment on this. I mean, you can make a comment after I show it, but you can make a comment anytime you want to. But last night, Republican presidential, or 2 nights ago, debate. And we don't discuss American politics on this. If we want to, I could do another stream. We can talk about that because I have my opinions. But I'm going to say this. I am not supporting people go vote for Mike Pence. And that's not what this is about. But I'm going to tell you something. This man understands Ukraine. This man understands the Soviet Union and Vladimir Putin. He's the former vice president of the United States under Donald Trump. Of course, he and Trump now are basically enemies. I think that's a polite way to say it. He got into a heated exchange with Vivek Ramaswamy, who's running for the Republican nomination in the United States. And everybody was bashing on Pence for some of these statements. But I'm here to tell you, there's a lot of cheers going on too. You'll understand all of this, no problem. But this man understands the war in Ukraine. I'm telling you, he does. And I'm going to play the clip and show it and get your thought on it.
Anybody that thinks that we can't solve the problems here in the United States and be the leader of the free world has a pretty small view of the greatest nation on earth.
That is incorrect.
We can do both, Vivek. We've done both. We've been the leader of the free world and the arsenal of democracy for years. The Reagan Doctrine years ago made it clear. We said, if you're willing to fight the communists on your soil, we'll give you the means to fight them there so our troops don't have to fight them. Vivek, if we do the giveaway that you want to give to Putin to give him his land, it's not going to be too long before he rolls across a NATO border, and frankly, our men and women of our armed forces are going to have to go and fight him. I want to let the Ukrainians fight and drive Putin and the Russians back out into Russia.
I want to just briefly address Pence. Vice President Pence. I have a newsflash. The USSR does not exist anymore. It fell back in 1990.
Did I say
the real
USSR?
threat? You talked about the communists, and the real communists that we have to address right now.
Do you not have any idea what Vladimir Putin's aims are?
You already spoke. Now I actually have something to say.
Vladimir Putin has been saying he wants to reestablish the old Soviet sphere
You've made
of
your point,
influence.
Vice President.
Now, if you think I'm sorry if I insulted him by calling him a communist. He is a dictator and a murderer, and the United States of America needs to stand against authoritarianism.
Mr. Ramaswamy, 30 seconds.
Respond.
Come on, buddy. I told you he understands it.
He reads Putin much better.
Oh, Vivek, whatever his name is, he has no clue. He's in some la la land. Okay? I'm telling you, Mike Pence, and I'm not saying go vote for Pence or I'm voting for Pence or any of that. This is only Republican trying to get the nomination. But I'm telling you, as far as Ukraine is concerned, Mike Pence understands Vladimir Putin. He just proved it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
I mean, it makes me want to cheer, especially because he mentioned Ronald Reagan as well. So I'm a Reaganite. So hopefully that's encouraging for you a little bit, bud. That man gets it.
I really, this is what we need. We need the God's miracle, and we need God's people, and we need real leaders in this world.
I was not
full of fear.
When the video's playing, I've got all these screens up here for the stream. I'm watching you on a camera over here. And when he starts telling the truth about Putin, I could see your head going, he's telling the truth. So anyway, but you know what? Overall, Zhenya, I mean, 7 air alarms today, tough day. Who knows what'll unfold next? But I can tell you this, it's been a good day. And you seem to be energized and happy.
Yeah,
I think we're under number 8 now. MiGs are back in the air. Yeah. So, hey, it's not always bad news. We're fighting a war, but the morale is good, and we're gonna win.
I want to remind you, beginning, we had a problem. We had any equipment to play a siren even.
Mm-hmm.
The alarms. We had a problem that the only few in a whole city like ours could hear the air alarm. Now it works, and now people much more prepared. We didn't have bomb shelters. It was something, but it didn't work. Now it works in most places.
It works very well. Believe me, it'll blow you out of the bed when you're sleeping there and you hear that thing go off. So, all right, buddy, we wish you well. And thanks for being here tonight. Ladies and gentlemen, day 548. Thank you for being here as always. If anything goes sideways, of course, we'll come in live at any moment. Make sure you're subscribed and have the notification bell on. We are continuing to supply. We've got some new requests down south for assistance, and we will be doing those. So continue to give, and we say thank you.
Mm-hmm. Thank you. Thank you very much.
I think we can,
to all of you.
That's right. I think we can give it to them tonight. A heart from Ukraine, and a heart from Ukraine on a delay, and a good night to all.
To all, a good night.
Slava Ukraini!